Lands of La Mancha is a Spanish map that has absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous layouts amongst it. It is built onto the mountainside, and there is something to look at every single where you look. Check this out. You got the old school windmills met with the new school, and you got the beautiful trace out there, and just look at the picturesque landscape that you have to deal with. This map is just beauty everywhere you look, and it is one of those maps that has only gotten better with age. It has had more and more attention paid to it throughout the years that it's been around. It was one of the older maps that came to Farming Simulator 22, and it was actually the first map series that I performed a Let's Play on. And this map, it was bare bones basic when I did my series on it, but after my series, this thing received so much attention, so much love. It got custom crops, custom production points. It got even a whole new farm rebuild on this map. The farm wasn't the farm when you first had this, and then sheep were put in and animals. All this stuff was added after the fact, and it was just an amazing map. It was basic. It was a basic map when you first got it, when I first did my series, and now it is beyond basic and into the realm of absolute slam dunk. Look at this starting farm. It is absolutely spectacular. A huge starting farm. The beautiful twisting winding roads just leading through the mountainside here is just absolutely spectacular. And one of my favorite features on this map is one of the most ridiculous, and I mean that in a good way, one of the most ridiculous drops down this mountainside I've ever seen on any map, and it is right over here. This hill is an absolute beast to take any of your equipment on. You have really got to be paying attention to what kind of equipment you're towing up and down here, because you can get stuck on this hill very easy, and then you're going to have to take the long way around to try and get back, and even that can be kind of a slog to try and figure out, because you might not be able to get certain sets of equipment up and down. Yeah, just an absolutely fantastic map. Yeah, I love Lands of La Mancha, and the longer and longer it's been around, the more and more love it's received. Yeah, the better it is aged. Another map maker you're going to hear me say a few times on this little best of maps video is Celebuki. Celebuki has made several maps, including Alma, Missouri, and this one here, Goldcrest Valley 22, and this version of Goldcrest Valley is absolutely phenomenal. Not only are we treated with a very nice, fresh version of Goldcrest Valley that is made for Farming Simulator 22, but it is also a breath of fresh air to breathe new life into the production system that Celebuki has done on a lot of their maps. You can see just the absolute rolling hills into the mountainsides. It is just an absolutely gorgeous map. The color palette is phenomenal, very understated, but you get all these little features that are just laid out all across the map that we are used to seeing on Goldcrest Valley, like the hydro dam. You also have just all the various different features, because it's a Celebuki map, of custom productions, custom crops, custom, just pretty much everything that you have grown to love in regards to Goldcrest Valley, just brought into the 22 universe. And it is absolutely spectacular to see that this map has received so much love over the years, and throughout the various different versions from 17 to 19 to 22, and 22 I think has at least 2 separate versions of Goldcrest Valley. I think this one is by far and away the better version, because of all those little niceties that have been added to this version. Like I said, the custom crops, custom productions, yeah, it just makes the map seem just a little bit more effective, a little bit more in the ways of wanting to play it and play it for a very long time. You got the beautiful town right here towards the southwest portion of the map that is just an absolute dream, and you've got all the little production points kind of sprinkled in amongst it. that, and you've got the awesome kind of Americana, the American flag. It just looks like a nice little American town. And that is one thing that Celebuki does very, very well, is to do a very, very good representation with their modding and with their models that makes it just really kind of inviting and really gives you that nice immersion factor. And I know that this one has been established for several iterations now, but like I said, I think this one takes the top bill when it comes to Goldcrest Valley. Celebuki making another appearance on this list for the mod map Iowa Plains View. This map is a beautiful example of a very nice American style map, large to medium fields, really extra large to large fields for the most part. And the landscape, the terrain is just beautiful. There's always something to be looking at, and the starting farm is massive. Look at this. That's just your grain silo directly in front of you there. But then you look around and you can see just all this layout here. A couple of greenhouses, bunch of storage, the main farmyard house there, and then across the street you got all this. You got a pig barn, you've got a cow barn over here, a chicken pasture on the other side back over there. Just all this is all you, and that's a really good starting. But then you start making your way around and looking at everything this map has to offer. It's in some places flat, but for the most part it's got a very nice mild undulation that just really gives you something very nice to look at. But it's not so over the top to where it's going to be, how am I going to be able to farm this? What kind of equipment am I going to need? I'm going to need a little bit of extra power in order to get through this. It's just a very lovely map. And again, you get all these different features all around it. You get big facilities down the south and to the west. You get a little town out to the west as well. Yeah, just one of those. You get a lot of stuff to look at. Nice little hills and ridge sides here. If we head out towards the actual town itself, is just, again, very, very nice. And you're never too far away from anything on this map. You get some beautiful water features right here in the middle of the map. Then you get into town here. Custom productions, custom crops again. You're going to have many different outputs, many different inputs. So it is just an absolute treat to be on this map, because you get a whole bunch of different stuff that you can kind of look forward to. A little bit of forestry, mostly farming on this one. Is mostly arables, very little in the ways of grass work. You can even destroy this little dilapidated farmyard over here and build up something in its place. It's actually really kind of a cool feature. You buy the land, you destroy this, and you get all the money that you spent on the land back by destroying this. It's kind of a cool little concept, and allows you to kind of, you know, build it up and do something that you want to do. But again, just a very good example of a very nice American town, and yeah, just absolutely lovely going around here. The Valley of the Old Farm is a European-style map that is just absolutely stunning. There are so many areas on this map that just leave you breathless. The main starting farm, and the very first thing that you're greeted with is the iconic ivy-covered walls here on the main farm. And this farm has gotten such a massive upgrade because of FS22. You got your bale storage all integrated into the main buildings here on the farm. The layouts and the custom pens that are here. You got a custom chicken pasture, custom sheep pasture, custom cow barn and cow pasture. And this is by far one of the most iconic cow pastures, I think, in Farming Simulator for all consoles. This little covered bridge here that the cows can go back and forth in and out of is just absolutely phenomenal. It is one of the coolest designs I think I've ever seen. Then you go down this little valley here and you get to the later part of the farm right over here where your pigs are kept. just separate from everything else. Very cool. You continue in this direction and you get into the town center here, and it is just an absolutely just iconic looking town. The layout is just spectacular. You go right into the shop area there, and then just the very nice productions that just seem to really fit on this map, even though, again, standard buildings in some cases, standard production points. We're used to seeing these, but these little touches, this little vat on the side of the sugar mill here is just a little extra that helps bring you out of the realm of, oh man, I'm used to seeing this building every other map or every standard map. It allows you to be able to be like, oh wow, that's a little bit different. That's something that you can kind of get behind. And again, same thing with the dairy over here. You got the just nice little land area here that's kind of built in with the trees and all that. So yeah, you're seeing a lot of the same buildings and stuff that you'd see on other maps, but that's okay because they put the effort in to decorate it and make it kind of special. And then you go around and you see all the winding, twisting roads kind of built onto the hillsides here. It is just an absolute dream. And then you get to see this. This is the outer perimeter of the map, the non-playable area, and it works. It works. It's one of the very few maps where you can actually look beyond the scope of the outer perimeter of the map and actually feel like it is a natural extension of the map. It is so rare and hard to find maps that can do this, and not only do this, but do this very well. And this map does it spectacularly. I am always impressed every single time I come onto this map because I can look out beyond the scope of the map and really just be impressed every single time. Again, you look at that outer perimeter. That is one of the things I fell in love with about this map, is that oftentimes what you'll get is twofold. You'll come up to the edge of the map, and then just the map just kind of shears off. You get this kind of cliff, and then you have everything that just kind of overhangs and looks out into the distance and just looks unnatural. You get this nice gentle slope into the rivers and into the kind of bodies of water that surround it, and then it just falls into this very beautiful and natural looking landscape in the background. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing because it just makes it feel so much larger than what you actually get. There's a huge range of things to do, from forestry to farm work and all that. The forestry work is going to be extremely difficult because you have very uneven, unnatural, no, I shouldn't say unnatural, but very natural landscaping in this wooded area, and it's going to be difficult to get in and out with any kind of logging equipment, logging trailers, the whole 9 yards. It is just an absolutely spectacular map that you really have to put in a lot of work into in order to really bring it to life. It is a wonderful, wonderful map, this map. Between the Mountains is a Portuguese map that has some of the greatest and most original style of beginning farm I have probably ever seen on a farming simulator map. This map is spectacular and is one of the few maps that's out there that actually incorporated grapes and olives right off the bat. Now, I will say, even though this is a 5 out of 5 map for me, it's not without its flaws. There are some issues with this map that are glaringly obvious, and I wish that the map maker would come back through and tidy this up a bit, but I guess beggars can't be choosers at this point. But this map, you know what? Here you go. Look at how stunning this map is. It is built into the mountainsides, and it is just incredible. And then you take a look at the starting farm itself, where we are at part of the starting farm, but you make your way down here. Look at this. Just absolutely breathtaking. Beautiful home to start out with. Little pond right here, little heart-shaped pond right in the middle of your farm. You got pretty much all the basics that you need in order to start out a beautiful farm. But what makes this farm so unique are the pens and pastures that you have to travel through in order to get around. So you start out here with the cow pasture. You go through a river system right here on the cow pasture. As you pass through it, you got a little grape vineyard right here, and then you move on to your sheep pasture. And look at this waterfall right with the sheep. Oh, just absolutely stunning. Continuing down the road and through the gates, you continue down these windy, twisty, turning paths, just kind of switch back and throughout the mountainside until finally you get to your next one, which is the pigs. Oh, just absolutely stunning. And it's just all built in to the countryside. It's amazing. The only one that isn't really fitting, isn't its own thing, is your horse pasture, which is right here. Other than that, though, I mean, you have dedicated lanes going in and out through the mountains. It is just absolutely wonderful, and you just continue to just go right through. And I mean, what more can I say? You got all these little custom production areas. Now, some of them are based off of old models that we have, but they are incorporated again with more details that are all around them. And then you just continue to take a look around and you see just all the details. You go further north and you go into a larger part of town, and it's just amazing. It's absolutely incredible, this map. But the one big flaw is right here at the large vineyard area. Before I show it, let's see, where is it? I'm trying to get my bearings here. Oh, there it is. See this little production point right here? It's floating off the ground. And you know what? That's a better view right there. Now, the reason that this is still a 5 out of 5, because that certainly should have knocked it down a peg or two. The reason it's still a 5 out of 5 is you can delete this and reinstall it, put it back on the ground, and it's perfectly fine and usable. Not a big deal at the end of the day. But, like I said, you look around and it is just color palette amazing. The amount of work that you can do, phenomenal. Just, yeah, it's just a phenomenal map. I just wish that it would receive a little bit of love from the map maker, get a couple of things tidied up here and there, and then this thing will just be out of this world. Riverside 22 is a very multifunctional map that allows you to do a whole bunch of different stuff. From grass care to farming to forestry, you can do it all here. And this map has just very subtle, gentle rolling hills. As you can see, it just undulates just ever so gently. There is a bit of color on this map, which normally is kind of a turn off for me. You can see this is a perfect example. But because there's so much going on this map and so much to kind of take in, it really kind of distracts you from that almost cartoon feel that these colors will bring about onto a map, and just allow you to kind of push past and see beyond it. But this map has, like I said, so much going for it. Let's go ahead and zoom out just a bit. Between the beautiful country lanes that are lined by hedges, you can just kind of go around getting your work done. You've got this cool little water area here, which is just really cool. Then you go around and you see the little trestle bridge there. You keep on going and you get into more parts of the town where, again, you're seeing some of the basic starting kind of production points. You got the bakery right over here, you got the dairy right here, but because there's so much stuff going on around the same area, it makes you kind of forget that these areas and these models are just the basic in-game models. And then you get all of your, pretty much all of your equipment here at the shop. It is kind of an interesting concept that a lot of your equipment is kind of here as a display piece rather than on your farm itself. So you have to take some time in getting your equipment out of the shop and into your own hands. But you keep on making your way around, and again, you get the giant forestry area. If you want to do some forestry and expand your operations, you can just continue to just go about and do regular farming and enjoying all the just hedge-lined roads that you get on this map. It's actually very stunning and very beautiful how each one of these roads is just lined with all these hedges, and yeah, it just kind of makes you feel kind of hemmed in and almost secure in the road structure that you're on. I don't know. It's certainly not something that I'm used to seeing. You know, being over in America, this is more of a, I would say, some kind of UK, possibly even a European style. But again, this map is just absolutely stunning at times. And again, you get the gentle hills that are on this map. You can see just it kind of undulates there in the center, but not to such a severe degree where you're going to have to start considering different kinds of equipment, where you're going to want to have more horsepower because you're going to have to overcome the hills and be able to do the work at the same time. All in all, a fantastic map. Rogue River Valley is a fictional map that is mainly a forestry map, but with a little smattering of farm work that can be done. But this is not a one-trick pony when it comes to a forestry map. This map was an absolute spearhead when it came to thinking outside the box and creating something that is not just a forestry map, but is so much further and beyond than just a forestry map. As you can see, tons and tons of forestry to be done here. But check this out. Nestled in the mountainside, you have a beautiful starting farm right down there, and some of the most interesting animal pens and pastures I have personally ever seen. You have, if I can find it, a sheep pasture right here that gets all your sheep kind of nestled into the mountainside here. They just kind of roam free in the mountains. Over here you have a chicken coop, which again, they just kind of are nestled here on the mountainside. At some points it's kind of wonky that I've experienced. They kind of seem like they're kind of all over the place, but it's still very, very interesting. You got plenty of storage on this map, but the reason that this one is kind of a spearhead is it has custom crops, custom productions, and specifically all sorts of productions that really make it to where you want to do like production heavy stuff. And it has a train network that involves said productions. As you can see, one of your productions over here is the furniture outlet, and it's really kind of easy to just get over here on the train and to be able to utilize the train for a lot of things. You have your section over here where there's a actual almost like a quarry, a river quarry, where you can go and pick up a bunch of stones and all sorts of material over here to be able to utilize in the town to further along your productions. Again, this map is just absolutely phenomenal. It has a lot of stuff going on, lots of stuff that you can do, mainly forestry, but if you're not interested in forestry, you're mainly interested in farming, well then this one can still be done. It's going to kind of put you behind the 8 ball in that regard because it's such a forestry heavy map, but again, because you have custom productions and all that, it is phenomenal. Now the only negative thing that I can really say about this map is you can see here how it just appears to have a cliff right off the side, and it just looks like the world has come to an end. Now it's fine if you're looking like this at ground level, but the moment you get up or close to the side, specifically when you're running around on your train, then you can really see that, and it really hurts the game, hurts the score to some degree. And you can see another little issue right there where the water line is just not making its way around. It would be nice if the water table kind of wrapped its way all the way around. That would be pretty nice. But all in all, it's not the end of the world, and I still think that this is a map that is worthy of a 5 rating because of all the things that you can do, everything that you have going on for you, and it's just a very, very lovely map. Korpi is a survival map in the Finnish wilderness, and this map is the bare minimum for a map. If you are looking for a really good survival map, this is it. This is up there, I would argue, with maps such as No Man's Land and others like it. This map is just simple, but more than just being simple, it is flat out gorgeous. Now, the one thing that this map does, which is really, really wild, is that it incorporates a lot of different crop types into the map as a kind of standard. You can see if I deselect some of these like sorghum and oats, look at that, the whole map just changes right out from under you. And then you continue on to just kind of turn off various different things to see, you know, what may or may not be out there. It is just a really, really cool map. And if we take a quick look around, the town area or the kind of built up area is incredibly minimal, very small, kind of nestled into the middle of the mountainside here, as you can see. But then we kind of start making our way around, looking through the forest, through the trees, and you can see it is very open, very expansive, but I mean, it's just very breathtaking in a lot of places. This little water feature over here is really, really nice. And you can just keep on making your way around, and you've got so much stuff that you can do. It's flat enough in places where you can build and expand and do things, but has enough rolling hills to keep it interesting, keeping you interested in the map. And then you got these rock faces all along the kind of map edge here that just absolutely love it. Love when I see map makers utilize a good rocky edge on the sides of the maps, or just incorporate them throughout the map itself. It has this beautiful flowing river just kind of rustling through the entire map face here. Just absolutely stunning. Like I said, if you're looking for a map that is just a bare bones minimal kind of map, and you just want to survive and struggle and just do what it is you have to do to build up a map for yourself, check out this map. Korpi, 5 out of 5. Piney Run is a fictitious forestry map from the same map maker that we've seen here a few other times, Poor Boy. And this map, again, majority forestry and with a little bit of farming, just a little bit. But this map is phenomenal. Again, just a simple starting farm, enough to get you going, but where it's at is the custom crops, custom productions, and the forestry. If you are a big forestry person, this is the map for you. It is laid out in such a way where the kind of shallow valley down to the south to the mountains in the north, it is 100% an amazing map. You got a mine, you got just about anything and everything you want to be able to do, you can do on this map. But if we kind of take a look around here, we start out here at the starting farm, and it's just simple. It's very long. This is probably one of the longest farms I can think off the top of my head, because it just kind of continues to stretch on and on and on. You get a couple of animal pens and pastures off into this direction here, kind of built into the landscape here. But then you really start making your way out into the world, and the world is covered in trees. Got a little river system right over here, fire department, but then we start climbing and climbing and climbing into the forest. And yeah, that's basically what you're going to see up here in the north, is just nothing but trees, 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 and more trees. You follow it out to this area out here, and you have the mine, where you can go and just literally just do stonework for it feels like for years. That's how many stones it looks like is out here. You continue on, and again, trees, 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 and more trees. If you're looking for a good map where forestry is the main focus, and you want to have multiple levels where some of it's also going to be rather difficult, because look at the hillsides. The hillsides you have here are just next level. This is going to be a perfect map for the Platinum expansion stuff that we got, using the yarder tools and things like that. You got beautiful little bridges and whatnot to kind of span the gaps going around. But again, what really sets this map apart, just like other Poor Boy maps, is that it has the custom productions. It has those things that really just doesn't allow this map to just be a one-trick pony. It really gives it kind of additional merits beyond just forestry. So even if you're not a huge forestry person, you want to take shortcuts or whatnot, but you are interested in producing the kind of productions that are on here, like crude oil and so on and so forth, then yeah, check out this map because it's phenomenal. BR-163MS is a Brazilian map that is also by Zero Oito. Again, a mainstay here for 5-star maps. I tell you what, details, 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 productions, productions, productions. This map is phenomenal, and every single time that I look at a Zero Oito map, it's because of this. It's because of all the details that are put into each one of their maps. They do I mean, look at this. There's a little cart here. Just a little cart. With chips and snacks and all sorts of stuff. You go around, you got a little VW bug just kind of hanging out here. How cool is that? And you go around and you just see all the little touches, all the details that are put into the map. And you're just on this first strip right here. You're on the main stretch. You know, beautiful church in the background, but if we kind of pan out and we take a look around, then you get to see the lovely landscape, the rolling hills just kind of swaying up and down. It is a beautiful color palette. You've got so much stuff to look at. And again, the various productions, the various like road networks, color palette, just everything about this map is phenomenal. And one thing I always loved about Zero Oito's maps are these bridges. They use these bridges a lot, but you cross over these rickety bridges and a lot of these boards just kind of bloop fall off as you're crossing them. It makes you kind of almost uneasy. Even though this is a video game, it's like, I don't want to cross this. Like, you almost get a little bit of tension in your chest because you're worried about, hey, is this thing going to give way and am I going to fall in? But you take a look, here's the starting farm. Very, very simple starting farm, but with a beautiful cow pasture that's kind of custom and built into the landscape here. Just absolutely beautiful. And again, a simple farm, a couple of fields, a silo, a little bit of storage, and a cow barn. That's it. That's it. Not a whole lot going on in that regard, but the rest of the map is where it's at. And again, details, details, details. If we can get over to, let's say, over here where the sawmill is, check this out. Look at everything that's going on here. You got multiple piles of wood, you got a carpentry and a sawmill all built in, you got people coming in and out, you've got work being done, all the sound effects, everything that's kind of going on in the background. You got all these loaders getting ready to do work, loading up trucks. You've got all the wood chips just piled up here, and this is just the sawmill, just the sawmill. But then you keep on looking around, you can see like the spinnery. It's not just a basic spinnery. You got big old piles of cotton bales hanging around. You got just a custom building here. You got swirling fans, and I mean, just look at this. You got the big Pioneer building in the background over there. Another sell point right over here with a bunch of trucks, a bunch of foot traffic, some harvesters that are just parked here, some I'm not quite sure if these are like silage troughs or things like that, but again, it's just everything that's going on here is just next level. And then you got trucks and cars and tractors that are custom, that are just running around the map. I mean, wow, just wow. Need I say more? The Another World is a fictitious map that is based on a Franco-Swiss style of map. And this one, the fields and how aggressive the landscape can be within them is what got me. It's an extremely busy map. As you can see, tons of fields going on, a lot of very small fields, but you're going to have to be careful because there's such a huge terrain differences throughout this map that if you are not purchasing something a little bit bigger than what's necessary, then you're going to stall out and you're going to be left stranded. But what's also hidden away on this map is little features like this, the boar forest. How cool is that? You actually can have boar, it's essentially just pigs. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's not a huge to-do, but you can have pigs running around the forest in here, and they're all the black style of pigs. They are called boars, but it's just cool. That is just cool. If you want a kind of little spin and twist on this, but like I said, if you take a look around, you see a whole bunch of beauty everywhere you look, and the rolling hills into the very aggressive hillsides in some parts. Now there's some little imperfections that you can see in the roadways there and whatnot, but you can see, look at how these hills just kind of get more aggressive as you continue around trying to find certain things. A bunch of pens and pastures just kind of hidden all throughout the map. But again, look at how aggressive this is. And this is just a stone right in the middle of your field. So you basically have this broken up into two separate fields. It is just a really cool concept. You got a lot of stuff going on here. It's mainly a farming, little bit of forestry, but the addition of how aggressive some of the hillsides can be really offer a bit of, you know, thinking outside the box. Like I said, look at this. This is a pretty good example of how aggressive the hills can be on this map, with a bunch of little details. You got the kind of broken down castle right here. I mean, just absolutely fantastic of a map. They did a fantastic job on it, and it's why it's up there for me. And here we are again with another 080 map, Black River, a European style map, and this thing is wow, wow, triple wow, wow. This map is incredible. You get a whole load of custom productions that are going to keep you entertained for hours on end, and they are just absolutely fantastic looking, top to bottom, left to right, up and down. This is amazing. We take a look. This is what you're greeted with. You're here at the gas station. Look, again, 080 should be synonymous with details. Details, details, details. Again, you got custom trucks and all sorts of equipment just kind of running around the entirety of the map. But if we take a look around, I mean, look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You have a fix-it station right here with a truck with no tire on it. How cool is that? But let's go ahead and start taking a look around, because oh my goodness. And not only do you get the beautiful landscape and whatnot, again, you get all sorts of custom sounds. Like you get workshop sounds that are in the shop area here. You get a what looks to be a train engine that's just either overheating, steaming, doing something, I don't know, but awesome nonetheless. It is just amazing, absolutely amazing. And again, we go around and we start looking at all the things that are on this map. The beautiful rolling hills, even some slightly mountainous areas on the outer perimeter of the map. You get little crossing bridges, you get train rental points, you get the whole lot. Over here you have the main starting farm, and look at how the home is just kind of perched right at the top of the hill with a little greenhouse right next to it, looking down on everything that is yours. And you keep on going out and you going further and further down to the south. You come across things like the broken rickety bridge right here into the mine area right here. This is, just how cool is this? Just love it. Absolutely love it. But we keep on making our way around. Again, you get custom productions that are just next level kind of stuff. Absolutely just, yes. I know I'm making a lot of noises and stuff and not really articulating, but this map is the epitome of what can and what should be done, in my opinion, for maps and map makers. This is what should be used as the gold standard of map making, because again, you get tons of farming, you get a little bit of forestry, you get all these different productions that can feed into one another and create further and further things down the line. Between the beautiful rolling hills, the custom production points, this map is 5 out of 5 all day, every day, and well deserving. One more map by 080, the Green Valley. This map is a huge mixture of a little bit of farming, a little bit of forestry, a little bit of survival, a little bit of just all the different elements. Mining is in here as well. All these different elements to make one mega awesome map. This map is honestly where I started to really fall in love with 080 maps. And this is why. You start out here right next to your starting farm, but if we pan out just a little bit and go down to the little town that you're right next to, look at all this detail that is in the town itself. Again, you're dealing with base game production points like the bakery here, but you have all this detail just smattered around that makes it look nothing like what it originally was. And where I started falling in love with this map in particular was right here, this little house that's under construction right here. I just thought this was like, wow, this is a really cool like integration. There's no reason for this to be up here other than it is. You got a little itty bitty field out behind it. They're just building their little farm dream home right there, and that's awesome. Then you look at like things like the gas station with all the trucks in here getting ready to fill up and do their thing. You got people just walking around. You got all sorts of like not construction, but mechanics and stuff going on in here. Just all this different stuff that is going on here. But then you start going around the rest of the map. There's a massive, absolutely massive field down the southeast corner of the map. Takes up a huge chunk of the map. This thing is a behemoth. But then you go out and you see all this kind of green area here. This is the survival area that's just to the north, and it's just nothing but trees and grass. You do have a really cool animal dealer location right here where you can buy manure and slurry. You got all the various animals just kind of wandering around in here, making it look alive and real. And again, it's those details. But where I fell in love with the details, and where I knew for forever and always I was going to be a fan of 080 was right over here in the city itself, or in the town itself. On the other side of the map, there's this production point right over here. I think it's actually a sell point, and just looking at it, it's not a big deal. Like, not a lot is going on. Is it? No, not this one. Where is it? There we go. Looking at this production points, sell points, all this stuff, it wasn't like, yeah, there's a lot going on here, lots of detail and all that. But where I fell in love was this. I know it sounds so silly. These rotating fans on the top of this building here. Unless you're in third person, this high up view like this, you'll never even know these exist. But that is the sign to me of a great map maker and somebody who is so detail oriented as to have something like this just churning away where most people are going to see something like this. They're going to be at ground level, just kind of wandering around, and you'll just see the stacks. But then you get up to here and you see this. That is next level detail. And again, you take a look around, you see all the trucks in the sell point here. You get all the pallets being loaded onto the back of the box trucks. You get all this stuff, and it's just wow, just absolutely incredible. But again, you get this huge, massive field. And this is one of the first maps I found that had a very, very unique shop area where you could actually take your equipment and like actually load it on with a pallet fork and right onto the back of a pickup truck or on the back of a semi truck. I just thought that was a really cool feature and something I'd never seen before until this map. And yeah, it's just fantastic. Love this map. And again, another reason why 080 maps will always and forever be in such high regard for me. Mazowiecka Nizina V3 is a Polish map that is just absolutely stunning at times and has so much going on. As you can see, there are hundreds and hundreds of fields available for you to purchase, for you to work on, and you start out really, really small on this map. You start out with little to nothing on it, and then it's up to you to put in the sweat equity to get something out of it. And you can really build up something special. You can really make something this absolutely next level on this. And again, very similar to a lot of other maps that are on this list that I really like are details. Details, details, details. If you can get details in and on your map, you stand a really good chance of being very up there in my book. And as you can see, just looking at all the details just here in the town, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. This looks like a real life place somewhere that you could actually go and visit and like be a visual representation of what a real town in this area would look like. But then you go outside of it and it just, again, it just looks serene, almost picturesque. It's very I don't know what the right word is for it, but again, the map is very appropriate with its color palette. Here's your starting farm, and it's again extremely small. Extremely small. You have next to no equipment, next to no land, next to nothing. But again, you take a look around and you just see all the detail just smattered around all the homes that are around the farms and around all the fields here. And then you get to looking, and now you get to all these little like hilly areas that just really add just something special to this map. It is just absolutely breathtaking when you take a look around. You start going off on some of these little side routes, these little 2-track trails, and you can really start seeing some very, very beautiful areas around here. And you continue to make your way around where it gets even more kind of rural and less populated, and it continues to look very, very nice. You got these huge power lines, these power stations here that are just, I've never seen anything like that, but that's just, I think that's cool. But then you got huge forestry areas, you got a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. You can do farming, forestry. I mean, the sky is the limit on this. And as we just continue to look around and check things out, between the muted color palette, which just makes it feel alive and real, and the layout and all this stuff, this is a special map. This is a very, very special map and well deserved of a 5 out of 5. Alex Prodealcenter Farm is a farm based on a real-life location in the middle of France. And this map is absolutely stunning. And again, one thing that really gives maps a leg up, in my opinion, is that when they're based off of real-life places, they oftentimes can be grounded in reality, which allows for that deeper level of immersion. Now, I have no idea what Alex Prodealcenter Farm is in real life outside of this map, but you look around and it is absolutely beautiful. You have tons of area to build up and to deal with. You have a ton of farmland to work on, loads and loads and loads. But then you start kind of making your way around and you have all these various custom pens and pastures. You got a sheep pasture just down the way here. And yeah, I mean, it's just when you get these kind of things, these kind of custom pastures and pens and stuff like that, just makes for just a much better experience, in my opinion, because it just makes it fit the map and makes it feel, again, more real. And then you get little special features like being able to raise and lower the fences, get them out of the way, so that way you can actually, kind of, take advantage of the terrain of the landscape without having to deal with the fence being a collision in your way. But then you come into town here and it's just a lovely little town center. I believe there are custom crops, there's custom productions. I believe there's apple pies and stuff at the bakery on the other end of the map there. But it's just one of those things that, again, you take a look, and again, this isn't custom, but this is the base game bakery, but it has custom little additions to it, the signage and stuff like that. That is the non-custom stuff. But then you also take a look behind me here and you have this kind of little sales center over here. You just get all these little details and all these little things that just, again, it adds up and makes a very awesome experience. You have a cow pasture that's right here, and again, because it's kind of just built in, it just looks really sharp. And especially when the grass is actually grown right now, because this is considered a field, you're able to then grow grass and all that stuff. So right now the game is just waiting for it to grow. But you take a look around and you got these gentle rolling hills. You got all these bales and stuff that's just outside of the playable area on the map, which I think that's really cool. Just kind of gives you something in addition to look at, and kind of, again, just have that kind of live that it makes it feel like there's something going on bigger than what is available on the map. So yeah, just absolutely love it. This is one of those maps where, even though I have no idea what the map is based off of outside of the name, there's just so much going on that is just awesome. Just awesome. And again, it just looks authentic, and it should, because it's based off of real life. So all that said and done, 5 out of 5, hands down. No Man's Land is a survival map that is located in between France and Spain, and this map is, I think, one of the best examples of a survival map. If you take a look around, yeah, there's a load of color, which that kind of takes away from it in my book, but it is just pure simplicity and survival. You get bare bones basic equipment, a tractor, a harvester, a couple little seeders and cultivators and things like that, but just enough to barely take care of this little itty bitty plot. But the whole map itself is just forest, grass, that's it. You get a one little grapevine area off to the west here, but other than that, I mean, you are basically on your own, and you have to figure out how to survive on your own and be able to make money good enough to where you're going to be able to start bringing in more and more and more product. But again, this is it. You're seeing grass and trees, and that is the makings of a good survival map, because you only have so much that you can do, so much that you can deal with in order to start turning a profit. So you have to be very creative in figuring out how it is you're going to proceed from one task to the next, to the next, to the next, until you're able to finally be independent on your own and being able to just survive with what it is that you have. So you're going to have to spend lots of time working, lots of time probably skipping through time to get to the next season, to get to the next bit in order to be able to move on. But you can see just a whole bunch of stones, trees, grass. Love this map. It's got so little going for it which gives it so much to work with. I know that last bit doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'm sticking with it. Attingham Park is a map that is based off a real-life location in England, and this map is kind of the pre-runner for FS22 for a map where you're not really a farmer per se. You're actually a BGA attendant, worker, owner. Like you basically are limited to the biogas and this little field. That is what you have. You don't have a farm, you don't have fields, you don't, like, the only field you have is a grass field, and that's it. That is everything that you have. You have equipment that's very minimal at best, and you just sit there and you just kind of do your thing. Now, the great thing about this map is that you can grow in so many different ways. There's areas where you can do a little bit of forestry, there's areas where you can do grass work, there's areas where you can do farming, and the layout of this map is absolutely incredible. And the look, because it's based off a real life place, as I've said many times in this video, it grounds it and makes the immersion factor tenfold. It really helps out a ton. But then you look around and you see little details along the path here. There's this estate that's way off in the distance over there that is what this whole map is basically centered around. But it's just an absolutely lovely map. You have a ton of things to look at, gentle rolling hills throughout the entire landscape here, and again, based off a real life place. This is an amazing example of what can be done with real life locations. You can actually bring them to life. And I know Mr. Sealy P has done Let's Play series on this map. I don't remember if it was for 22, it might have been for FS19, but a map like this, I'm pretty sure he mentioned that he had been there before and that it just brought back a lot of memories. I could be misremembering that, but for somebody to, you know, say, hey, I've been here before, I know what this place looks like, and I'm able to then go forward and, you know, elicit memories and all this stuff. This is the BGA, by the way, that you're, you know, owner of, attendant of, whatever the case may be. This is your grass field that you have that you can, you know, utilize and whatnot. But to bring all the kind of emotions that you incur from those memories is just really awesome. And to know that it is such a good representation of it just kind of makes it just that level deeper in the excellent factor. Again, that is just one more reason that this is a 5 out of 5. Pirambeiras Map is a map that is based off the northeast region of Brazil, and this map is a perfect example of the kind of hybrid survival in the north and kind of industrial in the south. This is a excellent kind of split the baby kind of map, and what I mean by that is that you have a starting farm, very little equipment, but because you don't have a lot of equipment, because you don't have a lot of stuff going for you, and you don't even have a lot of area on the map, you have this little chunk, and that's it. And this whole area right here is basically useless. You can't do anything with that. You can do a little bit of grass work right here, and you have a wheat field. That's it. That is literally it. And you have equipment that's strewn about several places throughout the map, mainly here. But what I absolutely fell in love with this map is the road network. The road network is so intricate that you could literally get lost so easy going from one place to the next to get to your starting farm, because you start out here at the shop. To get there, you have to follow this road all the way up and around out to this area and then come down to your starting farm. You can't just go from here to here. No, that'd be too simple. No, you have to go up and all the way around. But each one of these areas is giant grass fields that you're able to utilize. You can do a ton of forestry work in this area here. There's a little mountain area here, but this is what you're greeted with when you first load into the map, and this is gorgeous. And one of the key things that I noticed right away when I saw this map is the water. The water is actually brown. Look at that. It's normally you see maps and it's like a very clear blue kind of color. This is like a very muddy kind of looking water. The red dirt that kind of lines the paths for you, and the winding, twisting, curving roads. And these roads can be incredibly dangerous. If you're not paying attention, you have cliffs, you have mountainsides, you have bridges with no safety rails whatsoever. So you just keep on walking around and doing your thing. If you're trucking around really quickly, you can very easily end up in one of the rivers. And as you can see, here's one of the bridges I was talking about. Look at that. It is very minimal on this bridge here and no safety rails. So if you're just not paying attention, just bloop, and then you lose all your equipment, all whatever's in tow. But again, you got these beautiful mountainsides here, just kind of leading you all the way back. And if we just keep on going out to the, south for me, this is your starting farm right here. And it's, again, super minimal. No animals, no very bare bones equipment. I don't even think you have a harvester to start out with. You do have this wheat field that's ready to harvest, but you can see all this is bushes right here, so you can't really utilize this for anything. You have a little grass field right here next to your house. That's it. You have a beautiful little river system that's you're just kind of lined up against, and that's it. That's literally everything. But if you turn around and go into the town area to the south, then you get probably one of the greatest road networks I've ever seen. There's a lot of areas where there's only one way in, one way out, and you have to learn the road network so quickly or else you're just gonna get lost and not be able to find anything. And yeah, a lot of the productions and all that stuff have base equipment and stuff like that, base mods, until you start getting into like the sugar mills and all that stuff. And then you get these huge facilities that are just waiting for you to just go to town with. But yeah, this map is just absolutely gorgeous. There's so much stuff going on, these giant facilities, and again, just these kind of this road network is just so unique that you have to be paying attention where you're going, what you're doing, and eventually you'll eventually learn it, but it's going to take you a while. But all this combined is why I think this deserves a 5 out of 5.